Somewhere in the near future, behind layers of secrecy, within a remote biotech facility, an event takes place that will never make the evening news. A human embryo, genetically identical to another human being, is implanted into a surrogate womb. The first successful human clone has just been created, and almost no one knows. Not yet. This isn't science fiction. It's speculative history, projected into the future. A thought experiment, but one grounded in actual science, ethics, and political reality. Because while cloning has existed in nature for millennia, and in labs since the birth of Dolly the sheep, the cloning of a human being has remained one of the final taboos. Until now. Let's rewind. The idea of cloning isn't new. In 1996, scientists in Scotland cloned Dolly, the first mammal created from an adult somatic cell. That moment opened the floodgates of possibility and fear. Governments scrambled. Ethics committees panicked. Laws were passed, lines were drawn. But technology doesn't wait for consensus. So what would happen if someone crossed that line? The story begins with a private research group operating offshore, beyond the jurisdiction of any single government. They're not criminals, but pioneers willing to take the heat. The clone is created not for vanity, but for vision. A controlled scientific effort to answer the question humanity has whispered for decades. Can we recreate a human? And if so, what does that human become? The clone is born. Healthy. Normal. Just genetically identical to someone else. But from the moment they enter the world, the story diverges from anything we've ever known. The media would explode if they found out. But at first they don't. The child grows in secrecy, not in hiding, but in privacy, guarded by a small circle of scientists, doctors, and ethicists. Everything is monitored. Every milestone logged. Because this isn't just a child, it's a living experiment. A philosophical grenade. What is identity without genetic uniqueness? What does it mean to be an individual when your DNA belongs to someone else? These questions aren't just academic. They begin to manifest in real, human ways. The clone, let's call him Leo, is not a copy in any meaningful sense. His mind, experiences, and memories are entirely his own. He laughs at different things. He fears different shadows. He's shaped not by DNA, but by the texture of his environment. And yet, his existence casts a long shadow over society. Religious leaders denounce it. Politicians posture. The world divides. Some argue Leo is an abomination. Others see him as a marvel. Debates rage not only about rights, but about reality. If we can clone one human, can we clone leaders? Soldiers? Celebrities? What happens when biology becomes reproducible? Soon, attention turns to law. Leo has no precedent. Is he a citizen? Can he vote? Is he property? A product? A person? Every system, legal, ethical, social, is unprepared. But there's one institution ready to exploit the ambiguity: commerce. Private companies begin exploring genetic replication as a service. Ultra-wealthy individuals seek to preserve their lineage. Insurance companies question the boundaries of health policy. Genetic patents become the new gold rush. The clone story is no longer just about science. It's about economics, politics, power. And in the middle of it all is Leo. He didn't ask to be created. He didn't consent to be an experiment or a symbol. He just wants to live a life of his own. But how do you live freely when your very existence is a lightning rod? Here the narrative becomes human again. Leo grows into adolescence. He struggles with identity just like anyone. Only his struggle is amplified by global scrutiny. Cameras follow him. Conspiracies bloom. Every mistake is politicized. But there's something undeniable. Leo is not a threat. He's a mirror. He reflects back everything humanity loves and hates about itself. Its ambition, its arrogance, its desire to control life and death. And through him, we're forced to confront the uncomfortable truth. Cloning isn't just about making a copy. It's about making a choice. To cross boundaries. To rewrite the story of what it means to be human. And in that story, Leo is not a mistake. He's a beginning. Not a duplicate, but a disruption. The first chapter in a new volume of human history. One where biology is no longer destiny, and identity is no longer bound by origin. We don't know exactly when or if this story will unfold. But the technology exists. The motivations exist. The willpower somewhere exists. And so we're left with a final question. Are we ready? Because science is moving forward, with or without our permission.